Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ben Pak. I'm the president of the Korean American Law Enforcement Organization and current LAPD Reserve Officer. I'll be giving you a presentation titled Security and Awareness as Fundamental Education. This presentation is made possible and sponsored by the California Department of Social Services and a collaborative project of PACE, Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, KALEO, Korean American Law Enforcement Organization, and PACE Care. KALEO is a nonprofit organization with a focus in fostering the promotion and cultural understanding of Korean American law enforcement personnel throughout the country and worldwide. Our mission is to make a positive impact in our community, its members, and volunteers. We strive to strengthen our presence within the law enforcement community and grow as Korean American law enforcement officers. PACE, Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, is a community development that creates economic solutions to meet employment, education, housing, environment, and business development challenges of the Pacific Asian and other diverse community in Los Angeles. PACE Care is a senior care management company, and they help families develop solutions for the long-term care needs of their older relatives. And they're a California certified home care agency. The agenda for today is defining hate crimes and hate incidents, motivators of hate, statistics, and anti-Asian hate, what to do if you're a victim of hate, knowledge check, what to do if you're a witness of a hate, and the 5 Ds, a summary, resources for reporting hate, and a knowledge check. Let's begin. The purpose of this training is to aim to provide an overview of what hate crime and hate incidents are, how they manifest, and the impact of hate on Asian American communities. We'll also address what we can do to support and stand together with the AAPI community. We must also acknowledge that racism and xenophobia in the United States have contributed to the issue. This presentation serves as a call to action for us all to take a stand against hate and bigotry and to promote understanding, compassion, and inclusivity towards all communities. What is a hate crime? A hate crime is a crime against a person, group, or property motivated by the victim's real or perceived protected social group. Hate crimes can be prosecuted either as a misdemeanor or felonies, depending on the acts committed. Hate crimes are often violent in nature, such as assaults, murder, arson, vandalism, or threats to commit such crime. It may also cover conspiring or asking other persons to commit such crime, even if the crime was never carried out. In California, you can be a victim of a hate crime if you have been targeted because you are actual or perceived by race or ethnicity, nationality, religion, gender, sexual orientation, physical or mental disability. A hate incident is an action or behavior motivated by which one or more reason is not a crime. Example of hate incidents include name-calling, insults, displaying hate material on your property, posting hate material that does not result in property damage, distribution of material with hate messages in public places. So what's hate incident versus a hate crime? Hate incidents are not a criminal act. They involve hostile or hateful speech or disrespectful, discriminatory behavior motivated by bias. Nevertheless, they have not escalated to become crimes because they have not met the elements to make it into a crime. Motivators of hate crimes and hate incident. Racism, I believe that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Behavior or attitudes that reflects and fosters this belief. Racial discrimination or prejudices. Xenophobia, an aversion or hostility to disdain for or fear of foreigners, people from different cultures, or strangers. Prejudice, a preconceived evaluation or classification of other person based on that person's perceived age, religion, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, language, or nationality. Examples: China, Chinese, Asian virus, Wuhan virus, Kung flu, and other descriptors to describe COVID-19. We're going to watch a quick video regarding the Asian hate crime that's been happening in our country.
Disturbing videos of violence against Asian Americans are sadly a familiar sight these days, with an alarming surge in Asian hate crimes raging across the country. Hate attacks against Asian Americans rose nearly 150% in 2020, while decreasing for the general population.
Chinese virus, Kung flu.
Anti-Asian sentiment, many believe, is fueled by former President Donald Trump's repeated racist rhetoric blaming the COVID-19 virus on China.
Asian pieces.
Oh my God. Get out of here. From racist remarks to vicious attacks and murders, the alarming acts of hate have been escalating.
I want money. Tell them to move.
In March of last year, reports started to circulate of Asian Americans being sprayed with disinfectant, spit on, pushed, punched, and stabbed. In July, an 89-year-old Asian Brooklyn woman was set on fire by two boys. The local case made headlines and helped to raise awareness of the growing anti-Asian sentiment.
I don't know why anyone would ever do that. I feel so bad for her. I hope she's okay.
Sadly, the winter turned deadly, as a violent attack in San Francisco by a 19-year-old on 84-year-old Thai American Richard Ratanapati later resulted in the elderly man's tragic death. March saw a grave turn in anti-Asian sentiment, first with a series of mass shootings by a 21-year-old man at 3 Atlanta spas that left 8 people dead, 6 of them Asian women.
I feel like I'm just pressing down a lot of my emotions. I know it's going to come out one way or another.
In late March, a 65-year-old Filipino woman was attacked on her way to church outside a luxury apartment building in New York City. A 38-year-old man kicked the woman in the stomach, knocked her to the ground, and repeatedly stomped on her face, while surveillance video shows 2 building workers watching and doing nothing to help. As the attacks continue, those in the Asian American community are fighting back, like this 76-year-old Asian grandma in San Francisco, who was punched in the face and fought off her 39-year-old attacker, hitting him with a stick. These senseless and horrific acts have sparked protests across the country and have outraged family and friends speaking out. Like Sam Chen, whose 52-year-old mother was attacked and thrown to the ground by a 47-year-old man in Queens this past February. Actress Olivia Mung, a friend of the family, brought widespread attention to the case after she posted about it on social media. The attack, like many, was not treated as a hate crime, which is why Chen is now speaking out.
So as you can see on this graph, the attacks on Asians have increased tremendously compared to other hate crime incidents. And there's two reasons. One, because it has been increased, and two, there's been more reported incidents as people are becoming more empowered, and they are becoming more aware, and there are more websites and resources for people to be able to report them. Out of these reported incidents, 50% are Asian slurs or related to the Asian community. 23% is blamed on COVID-19, and 25% are directed to immigration slurs. So because COVID ended in 2022 or has really curved, we've seen a decrease, and yet there's still a big number of reports. Although the number of anti-Asian hate crimes has decreased since COVID-19, Asian Americans continue to face various forms of racial and hate bias discrimination. Hate incidents and hate crimes and discriminations. 78% of Asian adults have been treated as a foreigner, even if they're born in the United States. Examples includes being told to go back to their home country and being treated like they can't speak English. 32% of Asian adults say they know another Asian person in the United States who has been threatened or attacked because of their race or ethnicity since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. The anti-Asian hate crime is nothing new. Despite the surge of instances of anti-Asian hate during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's essential to recognize that such discrimination is not a recent phenomenon. Dating back to the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, to the denial of naturalization rights until the 1940s, to the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, and to prejudice faced by Muslim and Sikh and South Asians after the 9/11 attack. If you're a hate crime victim, you should, of course, contact the police, 911. If you or someone else is in immediate danger, facing a medical emergency, or witnessing a crime in progress. If you observe suspicious or threatening behavior or activity that may be indicating criminal intent, get medical attention, save documents of all evidence, take photos, and write down important information. And evidence may include graffiti, vandalism, license plates, photos, or other items that could be helpful on the investigation. If at all possible, write down the name, address, phone numbers, emails of witnesses, because some of them may not want to stay at the location or they may be in a hurry to leave. Write them down or take a photo with your cell phones or to be able to share with the police or other law enforcement agency. Try to get a description from any witness, the suspects, or vehicles involved. Afterwards, contact the community organizations in your area that they can help you respond to hate crimes or hate incidents. And you can do the incident reports either by phone or via computer as well. If you experience a hate incident, once again, if you're not in harm's way, if you're in harm's way, call 911. But after the fact, you can share the photos or any type of documentation that may help law enforcement deal with the investigation of the hate incident. Get contact of witnesses, get description from witnesses of the perpetrator, and also information on vehicles or other descriptors. As well as a crime, you can contact the community organization in your area to help navigate, to report or get resources for you to deal with the hate incident that you are a victim of or you witnessed the incident. Know your rights. A lot of people may not feel comfortable with dealing with law enforcement due to previous contact with the police or because of language. Know that if you initiate the contact with police, you can end the contact at any time. Starting the conversation by explaining that you have had negative past experience with the police will help officers to better understand your point of view. If you can request you can request a supervisor at any time if you don't feel that the officer is being helpful or you're being ignored. It is your right also to report your contact with the police, and the police cannot stop you from recording via video or voice recording. It is important to remember that while you have these rights, specific laws and regulations may vary by jurisdiction. Remaining calm and cooperative while still asserting your rights during interaction with the police can often lead to smoother outcomes. We'll have a quick knowledge check. Xenophobia is a fear or hatred of A, B, C, or D, foreign and strangers. What can you do to combat xenophobia? A, B, C, or D? All of the above, D. And we'll go to what if you witness a hate crime or hate incident? The 5 Ds of bystanders intervention are methods developed by Right to Be, an organization that works to combat harassment. And those are distract, delegate, document, delay, and direct. Intervention can be used to support someone who is being harassed, to emphasize that harassment is not okay, and to demonstrate that we have the power to make their community safer. First D is distract. Distract is a subtle and creative way to intervene. Its aim is simple: to derail the incident of harassment by interrupting it. The key to good distractions are Ignore the person who is harassing and engage directly with the person who is being harassed. Don't talk about or refer to the harassment that's happening. Instead, talk about something completely unrelated. An example of that would be if you were witnessing an incident, you could say something like, excuse me, can somebody tell me where the bus is? Do you know which street is, which way is this street? So you want to interrupt what's going on by distracting them. Delegate is asking a third party for help with intervening in the harassment. The key to delegations are: look for a delegate who is ready and willing to help. Often a great choice is the person right next to you. When you delegate someone to help you, try to tell them as clearly as possible what you're witnessing and how you like them to help. Example of this would be if you're witnessing it, to say, excuse me, is this person is being harassed? Can you help? And if this is happening in a bus or something like that, I think the bus driver would be an example of delegating in order to stop this. Documentation involves either recording or taking notes on an instance of harassment. It can be really helpful to record the incident, but there's some key for safety and responsibly document harassment. Assess the situation. If no one is helping the person being harassed, then use another one of the 5 Ds. Recording someone's experience of harm without ensuring they're receiving help can create further trauma for them. So, in other words, if you're going to be recording, make sure that the safety of the person being attacked is not in jeopardy. And if you think that the recording is going to be helpful in the investigation later on. Delay. Even if you can't act in the moment, you can still make a difference for someone who is being harassed by checking in on them after the fact. Many types of harassment happens in passing or very quickly, and it's not always possible we'll have the chance to intervene in other ways. But you don't have to ignore what happened and move on. You can help reduce the person's trauma by speaking to them after an instance of harassment. And after it happens, you could go to their aid to see if they need any resources and provide resources to them after the incident has occurred. And the last is direct. Sometimes you may want to respond directly to harassment by naming the inappropriate behavior and confronting the person doing the harm. Meaning, if you think it is safe, you can be involved directly and intervene or help in the situation. For you to directly help, you have to consider whether you are physically safe. Is the person being harassed physically safe? Is the environment safe? Does it seem unlikely that the situation will escalate? Can you tell if the person being harassed wants someone else to speak up or wants the help? If you can answer yes to all these questions, you might choose to a direct response. The second key to direct intervention is to keep it short and clear. As tempting as it may be, avoid engaging in dialogue, debate, or argument, since this is how situations can escalate. What you and your community can do: speak out against hate and intolerance, have community rallies to support victims, offer support and help the victims, ask public officials to speak out against hate crime. Way to combat violence and racism. Speak out if you witness a hate crime or incident. Report the hate crime or incident to your local law enforcement and nonprofit organization. Consider taking part in a training about hate. Advocate for awareness at your workplace and people you know. Reporting hate crime, you can usually do it by calling 911. You can also call 211 to report it to the County of Los Angeles and 311 to report it to the City of Los Angeles. You can also use these phone numbers, which is the non-emergency number for the LAPD and reporting a hotline by the nonprofit California versus Hate. You can also go online to these websites that have resources for you to learn more about the subject, or you may be able to get resources for people who have been a victim or witness to a hate crime or hate incident. Our last knowledge check. Are all bias incidents considered hate crimes? Yes or no? No. In many instances, they can be verbal harassment or discrimination against someone based on their identity, but the incident does not involve an underlying crime, such as aggravated harassment, physical attack, a threat of attack, or property damage. Does law enforcement take report for hate crime? Yes. Every law enforcement agency tracks hate crime data, and the department is required to post that information on a specified website before July 1st of each year. Does the LAPD take report for hate crimes or hate incidents? Yes. LAPD is one of the few agencies that actually will take a report for hate incidents as well. And of course, they will take a report for hate crimes. This has been a presentation on hate crime and hate incidents. My information is here. If you have any questions, you can contact me at ben@kaleousa.org. Thank you very much.